The fundamental conversation you'll anytime have is the one you have with yourself. You stir with it, you walk around with it, eventually you circle back to it. Besides, my self-talk was by and large sickening. Self-examine all time, so the sewer of my mind. Like I said, you really want to return in there and fix things. A lot of us are uncertain, like right now. Quite a while ago you wouldn't find me on the show. I was also embarrassed to tell you I floundered. I lied this large number of different things, getting pounded, getting tortured, whatever happened. Anyway, that is where the legitimate change starts to happen, when you can look at people, anybody, huge number of people, one individual, and make proper acquaintance. This is who I am, and this is where I want to fix myself, and this is where it honestly happened. I thought it happened when I was in 18 years old, endeavoring to float through this strategic appraisal. Right, it happened here when I was close to 300 lb showering for cockroaches, making $1,000 consistently. And you understand, people think of me as stupid people. My father called me such endless things, and not to be sure. In any event, engaging being beat just stripped me of all certainty. This is the place where I grasped I was far off from every other person on this planet. I have God alone on this planet, and I really want to fix everything. So this is where I started to encourage an indestructible mental tool compartment. A lot of us take off from our sensations of fear. Sure, furthermore, we limit ourselves to a lifestyle of this is all that we can do. Come alarmed by all that outer this case, almost certainly. So I'm pleasant inside this holder. I bounced the limit. Strangely, my life mentally, I bobbed the compartment and made proper acquaintance. I got to move past here and play. Most people acknowledge comfort is finally a gainful thing. Absence of concern is underhanded. We have such an enormous number of opportunities to settle. We get mollified and we won't fight against impediment. No one plunks down and makes a plan for becoming bold. No one picks up stalemate. Work is astounding, perfect, and negative. One deliberately designs a relationship that prompts wretchedness. These things happen, they creep in on us. Each new rung you move in the ladder of life as you quit progressing, whether or not you have caused it exceptionally far. We in general an opportunity to settle, to get pleasant. People disintegrate in their callings, and a couple of contenders never make it to the strong. They intentionally or accidentally get sensitive and recognizable the second you embrace comfort as the second of a fire in us. Whether you are familiar this fire, then again not, it doesn't have an impact on the way that individuals are carried into the world with a characteristic hankering to further foster. The issue is that after some time we stifle out this fire. The ordinary Americans consumes 3 to 4 hours on a phone each day. How should you sooner or later make do? This proportion of time, add that time up, and you could have gotten back to school, gotten a secret pilot's license, started business, consequently considerably more. You can look at your phone, gorge, estimable video organization, of course, later suck as a beast pacifier pushed in your mouth. A lot of like we accommodate newborn children who ought to be reduced each time you mitigate yourself. The fire you have inside is gagging out. Who could you sooner or later become? What might you eventually do? What impact could you anytime make? The vast majority will go to their graves without having tended to these questions. You won't see whether you make an effort not to deal with the fire. We have the hankering anyway. It's basic. Taking everything into account to get calmed, the hesitance to pursue burden alongside the hyper-pleasant everyday schedules we experience lead to laziness beginning a huge piece of our interests today on a crucial level. Expecting you accept you should do something or need to achieve something that matters, that justifies doing. Resistance comes. We live in a sensitive reality where you do whatever it takes not to have to do anything you needn't bother with. To do. The presence of resistance handicaps us. This believed is something similar than lifting a profound L weight for extended strength. In the event that you want to get more grounded, you ought to lift a mass. This mass will go against your muscles through gravity. Expecting you do it, you will be better for it. The more you lift that resistance for the long stretch, the less difficult it moves. Past months and years, you ought to progress forward to new troubles and meet further check to continue to get more grounded. Engaging resistance for progress rings legitimate in the wreck. Focus in life. Certain people do not fight impediment at all, gathering little advancement in life. Others challenge security from a particular point, and a short time later get comfortable never growing the load. These are people who achieve a Moderate level of accomplishment anyway who stop. Short, the work expected to conflict with resistance will be met with the same proportion of accomplishment. Battle continually, resistance never quit creating and never anytime get comfortable. I'm up around 5:30, so every day starts with a run likewise. That is because that is the specific something. I severely dislike accomplishing more than anything in the world, so that looks like some coffee likewise. I'm connected to safeguarding yourself, so the resulting you take off from your home, and the second you open your phone, the second you do any of that, you are by and by letting in poison in sickness, so I guarantee a lot of things you can't avoid. So as I get up, I start to protect plate my mind and body like a individual will war. You put your body I'm doing on that support on that run. I'm arousing and I'm giving myself this defensive layer, so when I turn out in the world by and by see that phone, I'm ready. I'm not starting off late, I'm not rushing around, I'm not disarranged considering the way that I acknowledge I will get hit in the mouth. There's a craftsmanship to getting hit in the mouth additionally. Consequently, these things are huge. You really want to stir, and you need to give yourself conviction. You want to give your dauntlessness that it starts with that run. Bother yields progress. Disquiet is an instructor, a litmus test for practices we should do thusly. Exactly when you consider accomplishment, think about the disquiet. Trouble will transform into how you center around everything and figure out your work to achieve what will genuinely make you foster. It's straightforward to say seek after burden and expecting that was all there was to it. I could end up here. You could seek after things that make you feel off kilter and come by results. There is a reality to this anyway in the certifiable world. It's a touch more tangled. The challenge is that you need to find trouble in the right locales and the wonderful aggregates you ought to center around your disquiet ordinary. You could seek after things that make you feel off kilter and come by results. There is a reality to this anyway in the certifiable world. It's a touch more tangled. The challenge is that you need to find trouble in the right locales and the wonderful aggregates you ought to center around your disquiet ordinary. Unfocused and coincidental burden will achieve some progression. In any case, the improvement you see with this kind of effort will bring about a straight development, and what we are chasing after are numerical results. You don't simply need to achieve something that makes you off kilter a day. You need to put base on your pain compounded in comparative locales over numerous years. You could have to start little, yet one area of misery will develop the accompanying locale besides. As this happens, you will see more. From that point, anything is possible. Accomplishment. When you see a compelling person in any space, there is no doubt they have been pursuing burden for a very long time. They sucked once they got abnormal, kept at it, and a short time later they started to suck fairly less wrapped up time. They went from sucking to decent. After they were fair, they ended up being perfect. They then went from perfect to staggering, and finally to first rate. The key is regular over numerous years. Pursuit develops accomplishment. Constant everyday pursuit is very off-kilter. We in general have something practically the same building blocks. We all in all have 24 hours in a day to shape our future and create who we really want to end up being. At any rate, some succeed at a certain level and others coast into normal quality or more awful. Today you can have anything you really want whenever you want. New inventive advances are rousing and essential, yet are we driving it, or are these advances driving us to a presence of sluggish effortlessness? You truly need to think your work and cut off interference. Embrace the suck and get comfortable. Manage your hardships alone. Where do you start? What areas of oil produce delayed consequences of the overall huge number of things you could be doing? What might it be really smart for you be doing? Comfort looks like a kid lion. You take it on as a charming, negligible pet, and in the beginning revering and supporting it is no issue. At any rate, as the lion starts to foster, you want to deal with it to a steadily expanding degree. At last you comprehend this beast was never planned to be your pet. That enchanting face that pulled you in now has sharp teeth and paws the size of your head. Over the long haul the lion will destroy you, since that is what lions do. Embracing comfort is a cunning cycle that can abridge your life and decline your delight in it to make the most huge impact. We want to clear the weeds on comfort. Once we clear up all of the elusive ways comfort is slithering into your life and toning you down, then we can deal with what killing comfort looks like and set before you the way towards it. Better life. I was 300 pounds twice in my life, so reliably I have my shoes laid out, cuz I scorn running. People don't acknowledge it, I scorn it. So this what happens reliably. I stir out of my bed and there's my shoes, my shirt, my shorts, depending upon the atmospheric conditions. There's sometimes I stir and I essentially look at them for quite a while, and thereafter I start walking around the hoop.